if you want to get in really good shape, if you want to lose weight, there's one of two paths. You can go the simpler route, which is going to cost a little bit more money, or you can go the free route, but the amount of effort is going to be very high. And the thing that's very interesting is my brother and I, we were having this conversation. We were at the gym working out, and then we're hanging out in the sauna. And he does a lot of stuff with like construction work and property management stuff. We're sitting there, and he's like, yo, man, I was working with this guy today, and he wanted me to do all this work fast. And then he also wanted me to do it with very high, that's supposed to be a cue, very high quality. And then not only that, he wanted it to be very cheap. The way my brother was explaining it, he was like, buddy, you can have fast or cheap, or you can have fast, high quality. You can't have all three. And it's just funny because I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And it reminded me of what I want to talk about with you guys today. So you can have a routine that's very cheap, but it's going to cost a lot of effort. So cheap, effort. So you can imagine there's like a graph, like a bar graph here. So if you got something that's like really cheap, probably going to cost you a lot of effort. Or let's say you got something that's like not a lot of effort. It's probably not going to be really cheap. It's probably going to be really expensive. So I guess like this should say like expense instead of cheap, but you know where I'm getting at with this. So when it comes to like your fitness, you got to recognize that ahead of time. I was explaining this to a family member where I was like, well, the food, that's like 80% of the thing. Like, you can't outwork a bad diet. If you're eating crappy and stuff, you can't overcompensate with a whole bunch of workouts. You got to get your diet locked in. And they were saying that same thing. They were like, yeah, but the cooking and this and that. And I was like, well, there's so many services out there that will cook the food for you. They'll meal prep it and they'll just send it to your front door. And they're like, yeah, but it's expensive. Like, yeah, but the effort is really low. It's very minimal. And they were like, well, you know what? No. I'm not going to do that because I'm motivated. I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy the foods. I'm going to cook it because I'm motivated. You've inspired me, Alec, to go out and get in shape. And I was like, all right, but what about the days that you're not motivated? I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, because you can't just grocery shop when you're motivated. You got to do it when you're not motivated. You can't just eat healthy when you're motivated. You got to do it when you don't feel like it. Like if I only went to the gym when I felt like going to the gym, oh my gosh, like I'd probably never be in it because it's like you wake up and you're tired, you don't want to go. But then when you go and you just get it done, you feel much better afterwards. But you feel better afterwards. You're not going because you're like, you get a few of those moments, but if you were to only eat healthy when you were motivated, you would likely not eat healthy at all. Like that conversation I had with them, I've yet to see them that motivated since that conversation. So they went the route of ordering the food, and guess what? They're so happy that they did that. They don't have to rely on their motivation and things like that. And then plus, when you break it down, when it comes to getting the food delivered to you, you don't got to drive. You don't got to cook it. You don't got to plan the things. You're not wasting anything. Like if you know you're going to eat 2 pre-made meals every day, there's no thought. You open the fridge and you're like, all right, 2 meals. And then you're going to have a protein shake after the gym, and then you have a protein shake later on in the day. You might even have a protein bar. You eat those meals, boom, you're good to go. So there's a program that I run, a couple $1,000s. It's like, wow, that's pretty expensive. The reason why is because I want you to put in as little effort as humanly possible. But guess what? You don't got to grocery shop. You don't got to cook your food. You don't got to come up with your workouts. You don't even have to motivate yourself to go to the gym. Motivation is a fleeting thing. I'm going to just make sure you go. You don't got to look up what to do or how to do it. I'm going to just tell you. You don't even got to deal with the difficult things of talking with your family members about your diet and what you're trying to do. Because I feel like that's a huge part. The people that you live with, if everyone's eating crappy and junky, just by default, you're probably going to be eating crappy and junky as well. And those are some difficult conversations. But guess what? That takes a lot of effort. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to make it easy for you to have those conversations. And, I got all these different systems and ways of doing it. Even things of like, well, I can't spend a lot of time in the gym. That's why I've meticulously crafted these exercises and this workout routine. So you don't need to be in the gym for a long time. If anything, the way that these exercises are pieced together, the shorter you spend in the gym, the better. It's doing a balance of these different things with the hormones, cortisol release, and testosterone and growth hormones, things like that. What I'm trying to get at here is for my program, it ain't cheap. However, the amount of effort is very low. But there are routes where, okay, let's say you do want to go out and you buy your own groceries and then you cook your own food and then you look up your own workouts. Like you can do all that. That's absolutely like doable. But the amount of effort is going to go way up. And plus, like, you don't know, like, then there's all the learning too. Like, you don't know which foods you got to buy. So it's a lot of effort, like, mentally. And then even just like trying to look the things up and then trying to know how to cook the things. Like, I can heat food up. I know how to heat food up really well. But if you're trying to add all these different ingredients and stuff, it's like, it's just toss it all into a crock pot, turn it on for 8 hours, and you're good to go. Like that's the route that I like to go for things. So when it comes to like determining programs and stuff for yourself, these are things that you have to consider. Do you want to put in as little effort as possible and essentially guarantee that you're going to get the results that you want? Or do you want to go like the super cheap route and save a couple bucks here and there? But what you are going to be spending is time. What you are going to need to put more into it is a lot more effort. And then whenever those little hiccups or those little speed bumps come into your path, which they always do, then you're going to have to tap into even more effort. And you cannot rely on your motivation. Now, I'm not here to say which way you should go. I'm just saying keep those things in mind. It's kind of like the business person. You want it fast, you want it high quality, or do you want it cheap? You can pick two. You can't pick all three. So I hope that this helped give some insight into the paths that you are going down with your own fitness journey. It's my pleasure to be able to help you get in shape. My name is Alec, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.